This episode is proudly brought to you by the members of the You Run Podcast Network. All shows can be found at yourunpodcast.com. So go and find your new podcast addiction today.
You want to die tonight?
The dad jokes he tells sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Marc's overblown roundups. You run podcasts or a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. But to do one podcast.
That's enough of that. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the You Run Podcast Horror Movie Review. And when I say we are back, I mean me, Scott. I am one of your hosts.
Me, my name is Mark. I can't do it. Even though you teed me up to do something different, I still can't do it.
Today is the final episode of Kate Rules Month, the month where our Patreon member Kate took full power of the show and picked all the movies that went in the polls, and so far has picked some of the best episodes of the year. Will she end on a high, or will she stumble at the last hurdle? Well, we're going to find out. We're kicking things off with a brief description of the film, followed by our thoughts on everything. We're going to be spoiler heavy. We're going to be, we're going to tell you everything. So if you haven't seen this 20-year-old movie, do not bitch that we spoiled it. A little bit later, you're going to be putting words directly into Hannibal Lecter's mouth as we share a new feature on the show. We're going to be checking our voicemails and sharing some facts as well. We also have some great guesses for the unbeatable quiz, which I'm bored of now.
Oh, are you? It's still doing my head in. Not because I'm bored of it, just because I'm trying my hardest to figure out the ones that I don't know, and I just can't. And then I had days. I even messaged you the other day because I was laid in bed one night, and it was the one that's what's the one that's like "Get Out of Here" or something like that.
Yeah.
The one with the woman, and our first guess was Alien. It came to me at like 11:30 when I was laid in bed. I was like, that's what that is. And then I woke up the next morning and completely forgot what I realized what it was. So it's gone again. So I'm hoping hearing it today, it might reinvigorate my memory.
Yeah, we've got some guesses. And I think now with the guesses and what I know people know, I think there's only one that's going to be missing.
Right, cool.
So we're nearly there. Today's going to be a super fun episode. It's going to be the last episode before we roll into October and our busiest time of the year for transient listeners who rock up once a month for us to excite them ready for Halloween and then fuck off again for an entire year. Remember Silence of the Lambs, that highly critically acclaimed movie with Jodie Foster as Clarice Starling? Well, we're not reviewing that today. Instead, we're diving into the last installment of the franchise. A free Hannibal Lecter stalks aristocrats in Europe while old victim gets Clarice reassigned to the case to kind of get what he wants. Knowing she can lead him to the man who permanently scarred him, he's got revenge planned, and it's a super well thought out revenge. She's going to feed him to the pigs. Julianne Moore, Anthony Hopkins, Gary Oldman, and the late great Ray Liotta lead the cast as we take a bite out of Hannibal from 2001.
Oh, Clarice, your problem is you need to get more fun out of life.
I'm all out of sorts today, and I think this is going to be a really odd episode. The recording software we record on isn't working properly, and it's pissing me off because I can't get to all the sound bites I need. Also, I'm very, very tired. I watched this film last night, and I was very pleased with my rewatch. And then over the day when I've been working, I've been doing the studio today, I've reflected on it as I'm humping and dumping stuff, and I've slowly picked holes in it, and I didn't think I was going to do that because I really like this film.
I'm curious to know what the holes are. I don't necessarily have any holes to pick. I think structurally everything makes logical sense and the story's very fluid. My issue with it is I've seen it done better now.
Yeah, when I say holes, it's more this isn't as good as other things that do the same thing.
Mm.
It's that coupled with Ridley Scott needed someone to edit this down and lose the 20 minutes of just nothing that exists
Yeah.
in the middle of this movie.
It's very, very excessive. There's a lot of bloat, and I think it does have some serious pacing issues. I don't think this movie in particular holds the same sort of attention as what Silence of the Lambs does. And I do feel a lot of that is down to the fact that Jodie Foster was recast by Julianne Moore in this movie. I don't think she's a very good Clarice Starling at all, in my opinion. I like her as an actress, and I don't want to bash her too much because I do think she's great, but she isn't Jodie Foster, in my opinion. And it's all I could see when I was watching this on a rewatch for the show. It was just like, oh, this movie would have been so much better if Jodie Foster had come back.
Yeah, and I kind of get that. I quite like this adaptation of Clarice Starling. They take how she is at the beginning, this aggressive, assertive, I know what I'm fucking doing, and then they carry it through the movie. And I think for the movie, it works very well. I know it's very different to the book, and I'm going to try. I'm going to try not to compare too much to the book because, yeah, we're not book.
Yeah, but I think it's hard not to. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've watched Manhunter, I've watched Silence of the Lambs, and both of those movies are carbon copies of the book and its source material.
Yeah,
this movie is wildly different. I wouldn't say wildly different. Obviously, the ending's vastly different, but I do feel like a lot of the portrayals of the characters and the way that they act and the way that they portray themselves in the movie is vastly different to what it is in the book. I mean, even the opening shootout alone and the aftermath of that and the dealing of that with Clarice Starling's character is handled so much differently in the book. She gets shot in the ear or the neck, I believe, if I remember rightly. And the fallout of that from her and the roommate she's living with at the time is like 3 chapters of a book, you know, and it's not even glossed over here. The whole thing with the FBI and the trial and what they're putting her through is another massive big segment in the book. And again, it's glossed over heavily here. And I feel like those are what's vital about the story of Hannibal, especially in Silence of the Lambs. It's not really a Hannibal story. It's a Clarice Starling story. And that's the same with Will Graham in Manhunter, Red Dragon, whichever one you want to talk about. Hannibal Lecter is a secondary character. And I think due to the success of those movies, he got pushed to the forefront of this story, even though the book itself is called Hannibal, and even though the movie itself is called Hannibal, and he does play a much bigger role than previously, he's very much shoved into the limelight constantly in this film, and it's always Anthony Hopkins screen time. And I think that was a mismanagement of the story and the source material, in my opinion.
It was, but Anthony Hopkins is the best thing in this movie. And had they not put him on screen and not pushed him to the forefront, this movie would have been borderline unwatchable. Because every time I get to the point where I'm like, oh, this is dragging a bit, Anthony Hopkins turns up. He says something really, really suave.
Look at this distinguished gentleman.
And then he kills someone, and I'm like, oh yeah, great, brilliant. I love this. I'll tell you who else I really, really love, and we're going to get in trouble for being racist again. I really, 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 really love the detective.
I'm a Luigi. No.
Yes. But again, I thought the version of him in Manhunter was in Hannibal TV series was better. And had I have not seen Hannibal TV series, I wouldn't have obviously said that. But because the guy in here is great. I don't want to strip anything away from him. I think he's fantastic. He really, really is. And again, the guy who plays Cordell in this movie, I know him from Heroes. He was like this terrible agent in like season 3 and 4 of Heroes.
He's also Doug from House of Cards. He's a really, really good actor. I think he's brilliant.
Very, very talented actor. But the guy who plays Cordell in the TV series does a much better job of playing Cordell. And it's hard to see past that now.
Yeah, there's things this movie does really, really well. It does tell a very good through narrative, and I really like the story of how Mercer, what's his name, Mason Verger. Faison Merger. How Faison Merger gets Clarice linked back in, like she's in trouble with the FBI because she shot that woman and just holding the baby. And he loops her back in. I love the meeting between the two of them the first meeting, where she's very conscious that he's obviously horribly disfigured, and she makes an active effort not to react to it. I thought that was really good. And the fact that he then baits her by basically going, yeah, well, I used to rape kids. And you're like, oh, you are the biggest fucking scumbag in the world. And he's like, it's fine, I can talk about it. I've got immunity. And I'm like, oh, you arsehole, you need to die right now.
Yeah. And again, like, the TV series is so much fucking better. Like, the Gary Oldman's performance is better than the TV series, but I do feel the handling of the Mason Verger character is better in the TV series, and the inclusion of his sister, who is in the book but not in the movie, is so much better as well. He has an eel pit in the fucking TV series. How fucking rad is that?
The thing is, though, when you do a TV series, you've got 10 hours to play with.
Which I wouldn't criticize this movie for if you didn't waste 45 of this movie on nonsense shit. You know what I mean? When there's key elements that are missing that would amplify the story, a lot of the times I'm like, yeah, but it's only a 2-hour runtime. You can only fit so much in. There is so much fucking bloat here that I'm like, yeah, you don't get a pass because you're a movie anymore.
No, I give this movie a lot of passes that I probably shouldn't, having seen it done better. And I've read the book as well. I think a lot of the passes come from the fact that Anthony Hopkins embodies Hannibal Lecter to a point that transitions from being he's an actor playing Hannibal Lecter to he's Hannibal Lecter. Like, he's so good at...
He's so Hannibal Lecter, he got divorced from his first wife for it.
Yeah, because his first wife was like, no.
I can't see past you being this guy anymore.
And in this, I like this because we get it's free range Hannibal Lecter. It's not Hannibal Lecter behind a glass, and free range Hannibal Lecter is so much more interesting. Yeah. Like, he killed his predecessor at the museum that he's now trying to become a curator at. Like, that alone is amazing. And the fact that he doesn't waver or show any sign of fear, like when he's confronted by the police officer the first time, he's like, oh yeah, did your predecessor leave anything? He's like, yes, they're all in a box, catalogued, organized, and ready for your collection when you'd like them. It's like, did he say anything to you? Do you have any problems? No, barely spoke to him. It's like no.
And that scene in particular is so fucking cool, man. Like, he's on the top 10 FBI most wanted list. The detective doesn't give a shit about him. He's not a suspect in the missing guy's problems. But Hannibal just keeps goading, and he starts bringing in his personal life into it. It's like, oh, I see you've been taken off this really big high-end case in Florence, and you've been downgraded to missing person. I'm like, why are you poking the bear? And it's all because he's just playing, and everything is just a game to him in everything he does. You know, he's so nonchalant about everything, and it makes his character so interesting.
Yeah, and the character of Hannibal Lecter draws a lot from real true crime cases. And one of the things it draws a lot is the goading of police and goading of Clarice Starling with the letters. And I it's one of the things I adore when we do true crime. When a serial killer sends a letter to the police, that to me is like the ultimate fuck you. And I find that super interesting, that they're so arrogant and confident in their own belief. They're like, look, I tell you what, I'm going to send you a letter. I'll leave some fingerprints on it, a bit of DNA. I'll leave some clues to maybe where I am, and you still can't get me. It's brilliant.
Yeah. One thing I did really appreciate about this movie this time on watching, because I picked up on it because my knowledge of the source material and everything else is so much vaster now, is the inclusion of the X-ray that they get. Because that never made any sense to me before. I'm like, it's just a fucking X-ray. It doesn't have a name on it. I'm like, what? He's got a fractured wrist. But in the books, he's got 6 fingers on one hand. And even though it's mentioned in any of the movies, because Anthony Hopkins only has 5 fingers and prosthetics would be an absolute bollock for such a simple do-away. However, by the time we get to the Hannibal book, it's such an important plot point because it's the X-ray with the 6 fingers on the hand, which is what draws them to find him. Here they have the X-ray. It doesn't have 6 fingers on it, and it's never mentioned. But for those who do know, it is there in the movie. And I was like, that's cool that you put it there. It's just a shame you didn't explain it to the rest of the audience.
Yeah, and the other thing I thought was quite cool is you get the people who smell the letter, the bouquet
Oh yeah, the guy
professionals.
from Breaking Bad, the Ding Ding Man.
Yeah. I
Smelly
paused
it.
the movie. Yeah, I paused the movie watching this and went, bullshit. No one does that.
They do.
It's a real. Do you know how much money that career pays?
No, I don't. I can
It's
imagine. Yeah.
You're talking 6-figure salary for smelling shit and identifying what it is.
Yeah, but you must have to have a nose like a bloodhound in order to get that job.
Yeah, so like a lot of them start out as wine connoisseurs, and they can pick up like, oh, this has got cherry and this has got this grape, and oh, I can smell the oak barrel, and that means it's this barrel, and that means it was made here. Like they're incredibly clever.
Yeah,
But
I mean, me and you have been smoking since we were 14. There's nowhere we would qualify. Our taste buds and smell senses are absolutely destroyed.
what does this wine smell like? Wine. How about this one? Yeah, that was wine too.
Yeah, that one smells a bit like Benson and Hedges.
Well, we don't smoke now though, so like
No,
mine today would smell like cherry raz.
Oh dear. Yeah, cool job, man. But yeah, you've got to be a clean living guy to be able to maintain it, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely not for me. I feel sorry for the detective when he realizes who he is and then finds the reward and calls the number. Like, first of all, is he hard up for cash? Because they never establish it in this movie. Does he need that money?
Detective Patsy, I mean, if you're offered 150 grand just as a deposit for a fingerprint and the rest to follow, you're going to take it. He's just a detective, you know. I mean, it's known he's a serviceman. They don't get paid fantastically. Sure, they get great pensions and stuff like that, but they don't get paid an exceptional wage. His wife wants to go to the opera. He can't afford opera tickets. Do you know,
His young hot wife.
His young hot wife, which I can't understand the matchmaking there. But anyway, yeah, she's very, very attractive. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't think you need to be necessarily that well off. I think if you're a detective and you're in the game and you have a suspicion that there's somebody there, and Mason Verge is putting up a reward, I think it was like £1 million or something like that, or £2 million.
Yeah.
That's enough for you to retire from the force and go on and live the rest of your life. You know, I mean, obviously it's a conflict of interest. And I don't know what the rules are on that. Like, whether you're allowed to claim it being a working detective or whether you should bring them in and arrest them as a duty to your career anyway. I don't know how that works.
No, I'm not sure. I'm guessing it's frowned upon because he makes a lot of active efforts to avoid anyone finding out, and he employs the guy to go and follow Hannibal or get the fingerprint.
I mean, to be fair, I've only just clicked in my mind anyway that it's not even a legal reward system anyway. Mason Verge is going to execute him, so I imagine this is a black market deal anyway.
Yeah, he's put a website up going, any information leading to this man, like, let me know. Verified fingerprint, we'll do the rest, and then we'll pay you the rest of your money. Like, that's not like an FBI, we're going to pay you 10 grand if you turn him in reward. That's yeah, he's going to be pictured.
That's a bounty on his head. It's a hitman Western bounty.
Yeah, and the young lad, he's basically a little druggy informant that Patsy sends after Hannibal.
Yep.
But that scene is brutal. The fact that he gets the fingerprint, falls to the floor, and Patsy gets like, he punched me in the stomach, and just fucking blood everywhere. He just like slit his main artery in it.
Yeah, his main artery in his leg. Precision, you know. And I like the conversation. He's like, oh, he went for the balls, but he missed. He's like, no, he didn't miss, man. He knows exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, I don't think this movie really picks up until Clarice, basically until they capture Hannibal.
I think so, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff there, but again, I think as a movie on its own, and your lack of knowledge to the source material, the excessive information that you get regarding Barney's character and his misdealings with stealing all Hannibal Lecter's personal effects from the asylum and selling them on the black market, the backstory that's vital to Mason Verge's character, even though we get the flashback scene with Gary Oldman and the drinking and he feeds it to the dogs and stuff, I still don't feel that there is enough in what's breezed over so quickly in this first hour and 20 minutes of the movie for a general moviegoer to get the satisfaction out of it that's required. For me, I only enjoy it because I can add the additional content that I need to make this work as a story sort of thing. That feels really cheap, and to say that because I watched this movie before I did all my lore digging and all my reading of the books and all my investment in the TV series and stuff. Like I still enjoyed the movie watching it on the first time, following straight on from Silence of the Lambs, not even knowing there was a Manhunter and there was even a Red Dragon book, and I enjoyed it, you know.
Yeah.
But like now I know all of this other stuff and all this additional information. It's like I
It
feel
damages it.
cheated. It damages it. I feel cheated by it, and I'm like, oh god, there's so much good stuff there. Why are we not sticking here for a little bit longer? And then, yeah. So for me, I found myself quite infuriated by a big percentage of the first half of the movie. And I'll be honest with you, I think this is one of Ridley Scott's worst directed movies. I think there is a hell of a lot of ugly transitioning and editing done. And I know it came out in 2001 and slow motion transitioning was a real thing, but I always had Ridley Scott on a bit of a pedestal for being like a really, really high-end director. But then when I watched this back again recently, I'm like, oh man, you sort of succumbed to lazy techniques of the time that I thought you were better than.
Yeah, and like Ridley Scott is an incredible director. Some of the things he's directed to this day will never be replicated, like Gladiator, Alien.
Yeah.
Like those movies are his benchmark work. This is very much, I think he was very for everything I've read, he was very invested in the Hannibal Lecter character. He's very invested in the story. And if I'm honest, I think he put more effort into that side of it than actually calling the shots and making it look as good as it should.
Yeah, because I think it's probably one of his ugliest movies that I've seen of his back catalogue anyway, and that's because he is such a high-end director. There's just a lot of lazy stuff here that I'm like, oh god, man, this is kind of, if you'd have told me this would have been directed by somebody that we don't know or a nobody, or this was a one-time director and done, I wouldn't be shocked or surprised by it. But to find out that it is Ridley Scott, the Ridley Scott, I was like, nothing here is wowing me when it comes to you being a director.
No, how do you feel about Ray Liotta in this? I think this is arguably one of his best roles. I think he's great as the scumbag ex-lover of Clarice Starling, who's just a dick all the time.
Yeah, I like him in here, and I like him in most things that he does. He's a very, very charming actor. I wouldn't go as far as to say this is his best work, though, by any stretch. Again, I'd like to see more from him in this movie. You know, I would like to have seen him get more screen time and him do more things and do more assholery things throughout the movie, like he does in the book. But yeah, he's all right. He's all right. But again, that's how I feel about everything within this movie. It was just all right.
Yeah, I think the second act, like once Hannibal's caught,
yeah,
the meeting with Mason Verger, I think, is amazing. I also love the fact that Mason Verger's constantly calling his pig guy, and his pig guy is the biggest chancer in the world. And he's just like, yeah, they're really loud. Listen, and then plays a tape of pigs going wild. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, but again, the thing is, in the book and in the TV series, we know, and I'm like, oh, is he just like tricking Mason Verger into thinking that he's killing people? And he's not. He's just playing the sounds of screaming, and then the dummy is stuffed with meat, so they know that when they chew on the dummy to the sound of screaming, it's all like a psychology thing that they're doing with the pigs. He's not trying to back up Mason Verger into thinking that he's killing people there and then. But it's just not highlighted well enough in the movie. It's not explained well enough, you know, and it's only because I know to put those pieces together and what's going on there, but it doesn't explain it properly in the film, I don't think.
Yeah, I do like the death of Patsy as well. I love when Hannibal catches him and the interrogation and the phone call with Clarice, and then out the window.
Luigi, no! Luigi! I heard of the snap!
Yeah, I love this. Balls in, balls out. Fantastic. Great kill. I love how detailed it is in terms of Hannibal going back to the because obviously the thing that they're studying at the university and what he's teaching is medieval torture. not dug into in the movie at all. He's teaching medieval torture techniques and things like that, and torture traps and weaponry throughout history. And that's how he knows so much information about the Patsy family line, because of the bowels in, bowels out through history. I mean, obviously, to get to that conclusion, he would have obviously had to dig into Patsy as a character, which, being Hannibal Lecter, being in Florence, knowing he's this hotshot detective, Hannibal's definitely done his research.
No, 100% he has.
That's what's led him to figure out this whole Patsy history line in terms of what they went through in the medieval times. But yeah, to do that and honor it in that way, and just the conversation of him bowels in, bowels out, and the conversation he has on the floor with Clarice Starling just before he kills him is just French kiss, man. The first conversation between the two since the events of Silence of the Lambs. It was really cool.
Yeah, like just the opening, like just when he's getting to like midway through, he's like, well, nothing would please me more than to stay and chat with you for hours, Clarice, but I'm kind of really busy, so I'm gonna have to call you back. Bye. It's like, oh man. But yeah, him being caught, I think, is great. I love this. I love the fact that Mason Verger is such an arsehole to Cordell that ultimately leads to Mason Verger's death. And that, in the book, it's great. In the series, it's great. In this, it's just as good. Because every single time I'm like, yeah, fucking deserved that. Every single bit of that. But one thing I do want to talk about is when Mason Verger tells the story of what Hannibal Lecter done to him.
Yes.
It's the fact that Hannibal Lecter didn't actually do anything whatsoever.
Nope. Didn't do anything. It was all suggestive. And again, it is in the book and it is in the TV series. It's very, very cool. He just drugs him and lets him go wild, you know? What is it? Auto asphyxiation. How do you say that, where they like hang themselves while masturbating?
Yeah, it's that. And then Hannibal asks him to use a bit of the mirror to see if he can peel his face off.
Yeah.
And he does.
And then Hannibal feeds it to the dogs.
Which that scene where he picks a bit up and gives it to the dog and the dog licks his fingers, I'm like, oh, that's gross. That's disgusting.
Yeah. But obviously then you find out, well, you don't find out in the movie either. You find out why he's paralyzed is because Hannibal kicks a chair. And it snaps his neck, but it doesn't kill him. And that's why he can't walk, not just the reason he's the disfigurement from peeling his face off isn't what killed him. It's very different in the TV series, though, and I don't know which one I like better, because in the TV series they do it in Will Graham's apartment, don't they? And he feeds it to Will Graham's dogs, and then Hannibal snaps his neck at the end.
Yeah,
but it's really cool in the TV series because it's again showing how calculated Hannibal Lecter is as a character, because he does it in front of Will Graham so that Will Graham thinks he's a killer to get him on board. But he's done it like to snap someone's neck, but to do it in a way that you don't kill them takes extreme precision to do such a thing like that. And I don't think it was done by accident in the TV series or the movie. In the movie, I think he's intended to kill him. And in the book lore, I think he intended to kill him either as well. But in the TV series, they make it look like he didn't intend to kill him. So he could reveal to Will Graham later on that, look, see, I didn't actually kill anybody.
Yeah, I'm
with my love for the TV series now.
Yeah, I'm a good guy, really.
Yeah.
How do you? So in the book, Hannibal Lecter saving Clarice Starling makes perfect sense. In the book, you know where this is going. There is an attraction and a sexual tension between these two characters. That is severely lacking in the movie, which is why they changed the end, but also makes me struggle to understand why Hannibal saved her. Yes, he finds her interesting, but interesting enough to make his own escape more difficult. I find it a really hard pill to swallow for this.
I think it does come across quite well in the movie that he is infatuated with her to a point of falling in love with her. I know it's not reciprocated by Clarice in the movie, and I haven't got that far in the book yet. I'm like 2/3 of the way in. But I do know how it plays out roughly. I know that there is a very, very different ending to what we see in the film.
We'll spoil the book for you when we get to facts. It's fine.
I'm all right, because I listened to a podcast a couple of years ago about this movie, and they dove massively into it without spoiler warnings. So I just kind of had to take the hit. But Yeah, I know it's wildly different, but I do feel like there is that sense of attraction and love from Hannibal in this movie towards Clarice Starling. And you can also look at it from a different perspective as well. Had he have chopped off Clarice Starling's hand in that moment, that would have been their cat and mouse over and done with.
Yeah.
Like he was playing the long game in the sense that if I chop my own hand off, I'll survive, I'll get away, and she's still going to be interested in coming after me.
Yeah, no, you've jumped forward. I'm on about when he saves her from the pigs and picks her up and carries her out when she's been drugged.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, I massively jumped the gun there. Sorry, I do apologize. When he saves her from the pigs after she's got shot.
Yeah. Like at that point, they've not established any of that. Like all of that's established in more detail later in the movie. At that moment, she's just a pain in his ass who's causing him a headache.
Yeah. See, I didn't look at it from that standpoint because I am reading the book and I have read all the prior books and stuff, and I know that there is a really big, strong connection. She's constantly receiving letters from him. I mean, she gets one in this movie. She gets loads in the books, even after his escape and stuff like that. There's a constant repeating letter situation that he keeps sending her and checking up on her, and her interest from him is always there. So I get, when I was watching it, I didn't even think about that, but you are right. Yeah. Why in that moment would he?
Yeah, he just wouldn't. Like he sent her, as far as the film lore establishes, he sent her one letter. She's trying to hunt him down. She's causing him a load of headache. She is the reason he's currently wearing his Hannibal mask from Silence of the Lambs and trying to be fed to pigs. Like it's all caused by her. So he'd have been like, no, fuck you. You stay here. Cordell killing Mason Verge is brilliant. And the fact that it's Anthony Hopkins is like, push him. Tell everyone I done it. And Cordell's like, this is the best deal ever. I get to kill him. He's such a prick. And just pushes him off. Amazing.
Yeah. I don't know if I would trust Hannibal.
The thing is, Hannibal's escaped. Like, you could push him off, say Hannibal Lecter done it. Who is going to question the loyal 20-year serving Cordell, who's basically wiped Mason Verge's ass, done everything without question, been his closest confidant? Who's going to suspect you after Hannibal Lecter has escaped and killed 4 or 5 other people?
I know, but he's just such a vindictive person. Like, man, I'd always be thinking, fuck, if that dude ever gets caught, man, I know he's going to sell me down the river.
Do you know, I don't know if he would, purely out of the fact he'd probably find it's his own little joke. He'd probably play that game with another detective who comes to talk to him.
Yeah, it's just not a glorifying enough kill for him to take credit for, I don't think.
No, I quite like it. I like the fact that Anthony Hopkins or Hannibal's so throwaway. Just push him off. Like, I don't care. Like, tell everyone I'd done it. It's like it's the grin that comes across Cordell's face. Like, I could I'm gonna. And it's Mason Verge go, Cordell, what are you doing, Cordell?
Gary Oldman's so fucking good in this movie, man. And it took me years, absolute years, to even know it was him under the makeup.
Do you know when I found out it was Gary Oldman?
When
I put this episode together today, and I've seen this film 30 times.
No way. Oh, shit. I mean, I know, but I only know through probably just being on social media, I think. I never knew years and years ago when I used to watch it regularly and stuff like that. It was only probably about 2 or 3 years ago, I think I figured out it was Gary Oldman. And even in the flashback scenes and stuff like that, it looks nothing like Gary Oldman.
Yeah, no, I literally found out yesterday.
Oh, wow. That's cool. I think it was the thing that there's like memes on like the internet about Gary Oldman being the greatest actor of all time. And then there's like loads of different roles where he plays. So there's like one where he's a dude from Fifth Element with the weird half haircut. And then he's James Gordon. And then there's this at the bottom and a couple of other ones throughout his career where he's in heavy prosthetics and stuff. I'm like, shit, I did not know that was him.
Gary Oldman is arguably one of the greatest actors ever to live and has a range that eclipses 99% of Hollywood combined.
Yeah. He's like maybe 2 great movies away from competing with Daniel Day-Lewis, I would have said. Yeah,
I mean, like even down to like his really basic roles where he plays the drugged out cop in Leon. Like he's
that's
just
a great performance.
Yeah, he's just fabulous in whatever he does. How do you feel about brain eating? Like, this scene's amazing.
I don't know, man. I just see Scary Movie 2. That fucking franchise kills me every time.
That franchise has damaged so many horror properties.
I don't know how I feel about it coming back. I'll be honest with you.
Well, I've got an episode coming out with BP on Let's Talk Horror this month, and one of those movies we were talking through the scene, and I held it back, but all I wanted to say was Scary Movie done it better, and I couldn't say that but they did. Yeah, I quite like the brain eating scene. Again, this is Hannibal being super, super, super fucking asshole. He's like, he's taking part of his brain out, and mate, he's being rude. Clarice like, no, we mustn't be rude. You must eat up, and feeds him some of it. Like, what a thing to do to someone, feed them their own brains. Awful.
Yeah, I wanted to try it though. Did you want to try it?
I probably would have tried a bit in the pot, like the little kid on the plane.
As soon as I saw it go into that pan and it was like, I was like, oh, do you know what? I wouldn't mind that. A bit of sweet chili sauce. That sounds fucking nice, that.
Yeah, it's fine if it's someone else's, but not your own.
No, I suppose not. It's like that desert island thing, innit? Would you chop your own leg off to eat it if you had to survive? Like, if you chop your own leg off, there's a lot of meat there. You know what I mean? Like, you that would last you. If you did some cuts of that and some cold cuts and stored it right, man, they would see you for a good chunk of time. I know you've lost your leg, but if you had to survive.
If I'm on an island, I have the ability to get fish and shell food.
Dude, you don't know how to fish. You do not know how to fish. Don't tell me you know how to fish on an island with nothing, no fishing line. There's no way you are diving in the ocean with a spear and wiping out a tuna.
I'd be trying that before I took my own leg off. And I am capable of catching a fucking crab. I can pick that shit up.
4-year-olds can catch a crab.
Exactly. So I don't need to chop my leg off. I'm going to live on crab legs forever.
We'll say it's an island that doesn't have crabs. If you had to cut your leg off, would you do it?
No, I'd starve. There's no, because if I chop my own leg off, I'm not going to be doing. If I've got the equipment to chop my own leg off and survive it, I've got more than enough equipment to find and hunt something, be it a bird, a rat. There's going to be some sort of animal on that island that after 3 days of being hungry, I will find a way to fucking catch it. I'll be MacGyvering the shit out of everything.
Nah, dude. Nah, you got to take that leg. You got to take that leg.
No, I'm good. I will be full Tom Hanks Castaway. Like, I'll make friends with the beach ball. Like, it's just not happening. I don't like the end where all the police arrive and Hannibal escapes. I don't like the ending they crafted for this movie.
No, the switch bit. He did it. He didn't. He. Do you know what I mean? Like, did he take her hand? Didn't he take her hand? Yeah, it was a bit weird.
Yeah, I'm genuinely not a fan, and not because it's done badly. Like, it's done really, really well, and I do have the first time I watched it, like, fuck, did he just cut her hand off? What a prick! And then you see him like getting on the boat, and he's like holding it, like, oh no, you chopped your own hand off. Bit weird, bit weird, but okay, I'll let it go. And then like the bit on the plane at the end of the sort of end credit scene, where you got the little curious kid come up like, what are you eating? He's like, oh, would you like to try some? It just feeds him a bit of matey's brain. I'm like, oh man, that's crossing some sort of line. I don't know what line that is.
Yeah, I know. But I wanted to try it there and then. I was pissed off that kid got it and I didn't. Like we mentioned earlier, I don't feel like there is enough relationship between Clarice and Hannibal in this version of the telling to justify that end sequence. Like, take away everything else. Take away all of the source material that it's working from, and just based on what the movie presents to us, I don't feel like the relationship between Hannibal and Clarice is fleshed out enough in this movie for him to commit the act that he did at the end of the film. It makes no sense. Had this been the end of Silence of the Lambs, and they'd have had that constant engagement and back and forth with her prison visits, and you can see the sheer investment that Hannibal has in her character, I would have made more sense. Say she'd have come in right at the very end and she'd have cuffed herself to him as he was making his escape, and he'd have done it there, I'd have been like, yeah, I get it. I get why he's done that. Here, I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me for why he would do that at this point. There's been such a vast difference between the two movies, and they didn't reestablish that connection well enough for me to think, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with you. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we do your recommended account?
Not particularly, no. I think it's yeah. There isn't much here for me to think, right, I really want to talk about this or I really want to talk about that. I mean, there are things that I want to talk about, but I don't think it correlates to this version of the story, I'm afraid.
No. Okay, well, you can do your recommended account then. Are you ready, or would you like some sort of soundbite?
No, here's one I prepared earlier. Where are we? There we go. So this week's recommended account of the week is Myers_Toast78.
Stop.
Myers...
Before you say, I want to guess. Does this creator burn Michael Myers pictures into bread?
No, but that would be a fucking awesome account and would make the name make more sense.
It really would. Like instantly, like, you get those toasters that you put, like it does special pictures on the toast.
Yeah, I've seen like the Darth Vader ones and stuff. They're awesome.
Yeah, I thought you were going to tell me that this is an account that makes toast and then like uses like a soldering iron like you would to wood and then like paints Michael Myers.
Do you know what the funny thing is? Like his actual page and his picture and his profile is a toaster with bread with Michael Myers' face on it. You can't see that very well on there. The lighting in here is terrible. Anyway, go check out the account and you'll see it for yourself. The reason why I'm mentioning this account tonight, he is fucking awesome. He's got a fantastic VHS collection and he's got a fantastic mask collection. Not just Michael Myers, all sorts of stuff. Creatures from the Black Lagoon, Ghostface. He's got some really, really cool shit. Some very fantastic horror memorabilia. But he posted something today which made me kind of want to mention him and give him that bit of a nudge if we can as a community, because it was something that resonated with me quite well. And it was more just saying how he was feeling burnout from posting content and how he was finding it a bit of a slug to get stuff out there. And I get it myself, from time to time where I'm constantly doing stuff and posting, that you kind of get that. And I don't want to say artistic lull, because I would not like to compare what we do to artists per se who paints and draws and write music and songs. I mean, we take photos and post them for other people's enjoyment. And I guess depending on how you value your creativity on social media, you could probably consider yourself an artist. I don't personally, but I understand the lull that he's feeling. And I just wanted everybody else to give him a bit of a boost, really, because it's a cool account and he creates some fantastic posts. And yeah, I just thought you might all go and give him a cheer up.
Yeah.
Make him feel good about himself, and hopefully he keeps doing what he's doing, because I think it's fantastic. And I think you all like it too.
The burnout thing's a real thing as well. Like you and me have spoken about it loads of times. Like I pump out probably more than 90% of creators on social media. I do 3 posts a day, 3 reels a day, 7 days a week. Plus I do TikToks, I do Twitter, I do X, I do fucking all the other shit, Blue Sky, Threads. I do so much. And people don't realize the amount of time and effort that goes into putting those posts. So yeah, I do the posts, I put them out. That takes time to do them and write the caption. But there's a whole time frame behind this where I create the memes, I download the videos, I edit the videos, I put the captions with them. Like there's all of that goes before it. And if you're doing that and you're like showcasing stuff you've got and you're getting it out and you're setting it up and you're photographing it and then you've got to put it all back, there's a lot that goes into it. And if you do it for a long time, you do have days where you're like, oh, fuck, why am I doing this?
Yeah, I think for me, what I tend to do is I try and do it in bulk. So like I'll come in here one night and I'll make 20, 30 posts and like pictures and stuff that I plan to progressively put out throughout the week. But you can always tell my enthusiasm regarding said post due to how much I've written in the caption.
Yeah.
If I go on a tangent and I'm talking for 3 paragraphs about the post in itself, I'm having a good week and I'm in the mood to talk about it and I'm invested in it. Sometimes if it's just a 1-word thing or a 2-word thing, it's like, I'm just doing it to keep up, you know.
Yeah. But what was the account again, so we can all go and give him some love?
That is Myers_Toast78. His name's Carl, and as always, give him a like, give him a follow, and let him know the You Run podcast sent you there.
We all love an anniversary. We all love a big celebration of a big event, which is why you should go and listen to Release Date Rewind, because that's exactly what they do. They find movies that are celebrating 20th, 30th, 40th, 50th anniversaries, and then talk about those movies and go back into the history and how they've become beloved iconic movies. And they do every single genre of film as well. So go and check out Release Date Rewind. Also, if you are a nostalgia whore like me and you like anything from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, even some stuff that is really, really prevalent in pop culture today, then you need Pop Culture Reflections podcast. This is a show that dives into everything pop culture, be it films, TV, professional wrestling, music, you name it, they cover it. So that's Pop Culture Reflections podcast. And you can check out both of these shows, so that's Release Date Rewind and Pop Culture Reflections podcast, on the You Run Podcast Network at yourunpodcast.com. So go and do that now, and back to the show.
Thanks, Scott.
Go and follow Mark's recommended account. Go and support them, because burnout's a real thing, and if an influx of people coming in, that can really kick you out of that funk. It really does help. Also, if you've got any accounts that you think need recommendations, send them to Mark on one of his 2 fabulous Instagram accounts, Reviews from the Crypt, where he reviews more movies there than he does here, or VHS from the Crypt, where you can get your jollies off by looking at his wonderful collection of VHS tapes.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Also, be sure to check out yourunpodcast.com, where you'll find links to all of our shows. You'll find links to all of the shows on the You Run Podcast Network and links to our socials and everything else. We are at You Run Podcast on pretty much every social media platform. If you want to get special attention and be able to communicate with me and Mark on a more personal level, go to Patreon, because that's the best place to do it. Go and join the Patreon community. We have a selection of tiers ranging from free going up to kind of, we give you our soul because you give us so much money levels. We have daily videos. We have early release episodes. We have exclusive videos. We have a whole other show called You Run Extra, which I love. You Run Extra, and everyone else will love it too, because it's me and Mark after we've recorded an episode, 3 sheets to the wind, talking shit about whatever topic anyone has picked for us on Patreon.
Fun to record, man. The last episode we did was fucking great. I really enjoyed that one.
I really enjoy them because they're not just horror as well. Like, we've done action movies, we've done Dexter, we've done kind of Lord of the Rings, like fucking 12.
Well, like, it's not necessarily even about the particular theme. That's just a small segment of the episode itself. We just go off.
Yeah.
And there's no restrictions on run times. We're not trying to keep things in. We just click start. Let's just talk shit and make sure we do our service to the Patreons by putting in the thing that they said along the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's, if anyone listens to this show and you've heard me rein Mark in, like, imagine that, but I don't stop him. It's that. Yeah. It's that. Also, now is a really good time to join because True Crime is returning. We're also going to have True Crime Extra, which will be me and Heather doing exactly the same as me and Mark do, but on true crime topics and, again, whatever the Patreons pick. So go and do that. It's patreon.com/You Run Podcast. You can also support us in free ways as well if you don't want to go and join Patreon because you're a bit weird. You can share the show with a friend. You can review it on Apple or Spotify, like or comment on one of our videos, one of our posts, or send an audio DM on Instagram or X to this show and hear your voice on the air. They're all really simple things. They're all free and they all help the show grow, because even something as simple as a new voice on the voicemail will drag new people in because they'll go, oh, I need to hear what that person said. So do those because it really does help. Let's do some facts. Anthony Hopkins wrote a sequel to this. He wrote a screenplay for a sequel entitled Hannibal Ending.
That sounds fucking awesome, because that's one thing about the books. I say it pisses me off about the books. I haven't got to the end of the books. Is it a satisfying conclusion as it should be? He's never released it.
He's never released it, but what information he has released is it is a fitting end to Hannibal as Clarice puts him down.
Right. I was referring to Thomas Harris because he's never written another book after Hannibal, and I haven't got to the end of Hannibal yet, and I don't know if it ends in a similar fashion or if he gets gunned down or if what. But I always get to the end of this movie and it always pisses me off. I'm like, so where does it go next? Because he's still out there. Why have we not got another one?
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you exactly what happens at the end of the book in a minute, so you'll know where it goes. The part of Mason Verger was originally offered to Christopher Reeves, based on his work in a wheelchair that he'd done for Above Suspicion. This is before he was paralyzed for horse riding. He had never read the novel, and he asked for a copy of the script to be sent. And when he read that Verger was a quadriplegic, facially disfigured child rapist, he declined the role. And apparently his agent went, Superman cannot play a child rapist. It does not work.
No, but the irony of his outcome later on.
Yeah. Jodie Foster was originally linked to this project for years. This sat in screenplay hell, and she was going to be a part of it. And when the script was finalized and Ridley Scott was on board, she declined. She issued a statement. Her statement, I think, speaks volumes for what they'd done to the character of Clarice Starling. I have been offered more money than ever in my entire career to make this film. But who cares if it portrays Clarice, who has become like a person to me? That's it.
Yeah, and her connection to it. You can see in that Silence of the Lambs movie how much she gave of herself to that role. And I completely understand why she turned it down. I think for me, the original... Because Anthony Hopkins wasn't on board either. He didn't want to make this for a long period of time. They was both in unison about not returning because neither of them wanted the movie to be made. And I remember Jodie Foster's come out and give a lot of recent sort of interviews in her later life about not returning. And she's never shat on Julianne Moore particularly, but she has vaguely suggested that she thought her performance was shit without coming out and saying it.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of the gripes she had was with the actual source material.
I think you're right. Yeah, and Julianne Moore is there because Anthony Hopkins made it so. Like Ridley Scott couldn't decide who to cast, and Anthony Hopkins said, cast Julianne Moore because I worked with her on Surviving Picasso. She's a really good actress. If anyone can do it, it's her. So it's Anthony Hopkins who kind of orchestrated her being there. And I think Julianne Moore done a good job with what she was given.
I don't know. I think the lack of emotion that's required from her in this movie doesn't convey very well. And it all stemmed for me, particularly with that opening gun out sequence. I just know Jodie Foster would have handled that so much better. And the range of emotions on display from her would have amplified that scene to a much higher level. Like I say, I've read that opening segment in the book, and it's a really, really powerful couple of chapters, and the fallout that comes with it afterwards. And Jodie Foster as an actress, she showcases so much with saying so little, which I don't think Julianne Moore has the power to be able to do.
No, I quite like Julianne Moore. I'm not going to bash on her. I think she's a good actress. I think she's done well here.
Yeah, I mean, we can agree to disagree. You know, I mean, it's one of those things. You know, we're all entitled to our opinion. I just don't feel like she brings the depth required from her for such an iconic character, in my opinion.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I disagree, but I get your point. Gary Oldman isn't featured in the opening credits. He's not featured on any movie posters whatsoever. He isn't billed until the closing credits, where he's billed third after Anthony Hopkins and Julianne Moore. This was done on the request of Gary Oldman, Anthony Hopkins, and Julianne Moore. All went to Ridley Scott and went, he looks nothing like Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman went, I look nothing like me. Don't tell anyone. And it wasn't until the film was released and they started doing, you know, where they go and interview the cast? Like they were interviewing the cast, and Gary Oldman was on the list, and all the people coming to interview the cast are like, who do you play? There's some really cool clips online where they're like, who are you in the movie? He's like, I'm Mason Verger. They're like, are you?
That's awesome.
Which I only found out yesterday when I found out.
Yeah.
They made an animatronic puppet for Ray Liotta when he had his brain removed. The editing was done so well that even Ray Liotta can't tell when it goes from puppet to him and back again.
No, I've never picked up on that. I thought it was him. The CGI is a bit shitty these days of the brain itself. That looks a bit wonky. I didn't know practical was used. I just assumed it was Ray Liotta with a green screen cap on.
It was that, plus they had an animatronic head that they used for some of the close-up shots, and the bit where he scoops the brain out, that's the animatronic.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. No, I never noticed a transition at all.
The movie has a very different ending to the book. Do you want me to mute you, Mark, so you don't hear what?
No, because as I say, I have already heard what it is. I can't remember specifically what those points were. I know there's some sort of love interest and relation between the two of them, but I can't remember much past that. It'd be one of those. When I'm reading the book, it'll come back to me anyway, so you might as well tell me.
Okay, so at the end of the book, Hannibal Lecter takes Ray Liotta's brain and he cooks it, and then he feeds it to Clarice. But Clarice likes it, and then he feeds some to himself, and then they feed it to each other, and then they have sex on the big dining room table before eloping together into the night and escaping. The novel ends 3 years later when Barney finds Lecter and Clarice living together in Buenos Aires and basically spots them and fucking runs for his life because Hannibal catches eye contact with him, and Barney knows he's fucked. And that's how the book ends. But that, when in the context of the book, that works really well. He does such a good job of building the sexual tension between the two that when it happens, it works. If they'd done that in this movie, everyone would have been like, what? Why are you doing that? Why are you having sex? I don't understand.
Yeah. And like I said, that was a big factor for Jodie Foster's initial resentment towards coming back because she didn't like the ending of the book.
Yeah.
I don't know whether she knew how Ridley Scott was planning on changing it before she refused it at that stage. I'm not too sure. But that was one of the big points for her, was like, it doesn't work for me. Clarice Starling should not be with Hannibal by the end of this movie. Yeah,
but it opens so much possibility for the future. Like, if there was another book, do you have Clarice and Hannibal killing together?
Yeah, I'd be all for that. I think that'd be fantastic. I would love to read that.
Yeah, I agree. Should we do some voicemails? We have a couple of voicemails. Then later on, we've got a couple of voicemails for the quiz as well. Pick one or two?
Two.
Hi guys, just started listening to the latest Patreon episode and you're on about stupid shit at work, so I thought I'd share your story. It was once upon a time where I painted the outside of houses, and I was doing the gable end. For those who don't know what gable end is, it's the really big tall triangular piece at the side of a house, so you got an image. And I had my ladder up, I was painting, and there's about a square foot I couldn't reach. There's the last square foot of the wall, everything else was done. So instead of getting down the ladder, there was a window. I decided to literally hang off the outside window frame just to get the last square foot, before climbing back onto the ladder and getting down again. See, when we're young, we do these dumb things without any consequence. Of course, I wouldn't dream of that today. Haters.
No, and like I said, I do dumb shit like that all the time, and still to this day, hence the lack of bounce I used to have.
Yeah, and this is the difference in you and me. I've now reached the age where I've realised, Dave's reached the age where he's realised we can't do that anymore. You're at the age now where you're still contemplating, I can still do that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm coming around to the idea a little bit more, man. It's taken me a while to get over this. This is like, week 4 now, week 3?
Yeah.
It's a fall, and I'm still injured, man. You know, usually I'm 24 hours, 48 hours max, and I'm back up and running. Yeah, this one's took me a while to get over. So I don't know. Maybe a steady foot might be more approached next time.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, Scott. Hey, Mark. Newman the Film Rat here from Movies for Days. I just couldn't stop myself. I had to echo the recommendations of one of your Aussie listeners, I believe, who told you to check out the show Mr. In Between. It's a really great dark comedy kind of crime show that's all centered around this one dude named Ray, played by Scott Ryan. And he's one of the chief writers on the show. He basically created this character. So it's just 3 seasons of watching this guy do this character really, really well. He's just got this ridiculous charm about him. He's got this $1 million smile. And when he flashes that smile at somebody, it's because he's about to fuck them up. You know, and he's trying to be a good single dad along the way, but he's basically like a really high-level enforcer for this local crime kingpin sort of dude. But, you know, the crime kingpin guy is kind of a jackass to begin with, so there's a lot of camaraderie and comedy that comes out of that as well. It's just a really well-done show that never tries to punch above its weight class, and it has a really nice wrap-up at the end of Season 3. I can't recommend it enough. And don't be frustrated, because I know you already addressed that you don't have a way to watch this because of your location. Well, it's on Hulu, and if you employ something called a VPN, which is really easy to get, you can essentially watch the streaming services that are available in any region around the world. You just use the VPN to change your stated country of origin. Apparently, it's super simple, and I should know. I've never done it or even tried to do it. So that's why I'm recommending it to you. Let me know how this VPN thing goes and watch Mr. In Between. It's wonderful.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. I like I say, I think that show looks amazing from the snippets I've seen, and I do want to watch it. I've not used a VPN before, but I know a lot of people are using VPNs at the moment to get around this ridiculous adult ban thing we've got here in the UK.
Oh, so you can't watch porn? Yeah, no, I have a VPN, but not for that purpose.
No. So I don't know what a VPN is and what it does. Do you have to subscribe to it? Does it?
Yeah, so but basically a VPN is effectively an app you download, you pay a monthly subscription for it, and you go on the app, and then you can change where you are in the world. So you can say, I live in the United States, and that will then tell the internet that you live in the United States, and you can subscribe to Hulu or subscribe to any US services, or you can go, oh, there's a really cool show that's only on Japanese television. I live in Tokyo, and then you can get access to that.
Yeah, because a friend of M's, she lives in New Zealand, but she uses a VPN to watch EastEnders. The lamest thing ever to watch, but
that is the worst reason. Like, having a VPN to watch porn is better than having a VPN to watch EastEnders. Like, that's
I agree more. Yeah,
that's less embarrassing. We debuted a new feature. What is he saying? And demanded that wrong answers were given only. This blew up on Facebook. Like, it's still blowing. It blew up late. It blew up after I wrote the episode. But if you go to our Facebook, there's about 60 comments on this, and they just keep coming. Like, Facebook has just gone wild for this post for some reason. But we've got Chris Midsummer, Tickle My Pickle. I really like this because it's a call to a movie that I adore. Ghost Note 1986, when I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. Mondo Street Social went with, if you look close enough, Clarice, there's a little bit of census taker between my teeth.
Oh.
Let's Talk Horror Channel. You don't look like Jodie Foster.
Perfect. Love that.
Dissect That Film. Am I doing this kissing thing right? Pete Andlow, this is one of the Facebook ones. If you want me to check there's an eyelash in your eye, you've got to fucking open them. And I went back to check the post and went, it does look like that. And finally, Brian Schnapper went with, no, Clarice, I do not think there was too much garlic in my brains.
Brian Snapper's a cool name. I wish I was called Brian Snapper.
You want to be called Brian? I will call you Brian Snapper for the rest of the show if you want, Brian.
Well, no. I mean, you can't just mimic it in that instance. Like I would like to like go into the bank and be like, "Hi, I'm Brian Snapper."
It's like
You know
Homer
what I
Simpson
mean?
with Max Power. I am Max Power.
Yeah, it's that kind of name, isn't it? That's cool. That.
We've had some guesses in for our quiz. So anyone who's not heard the quiz before, there is a clip I play. It has 5 clips from movies in it. All you need to do is identify all 5 movies. If you get all 5 movies right, you get 6 months free to our Patreon at the level where you get absolutely everything. If you are already a Patreon member, as most people who are entering are, you get basically kind of whatever you want, a video of me and Mark doing or saying whatever you want within reason.
But yeah, within reason. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, I mean, I will quite happily do a nude podcast with a horror mask covering my nether region if that's what you want. That's where my cutoff is. Like, the horror mask has to be there.
Yeah, I feel like for me, I'm not gonna make any suggestions. I'll see what comes my way, and I'll yes and no it at the time.
Right.
I'm not
Okay.
getting ideas in other people's heads.
So let's play the clip first so you can hear the actual clip. So this is the clip.
Trick or treat. What have you done?
Eat shit!
Move! Give me a break.
So
It's just come
Mark,
back to me. It came back to me then. I don't know if it's right either, but I think I do.
Let's see how other people have got on first. So this is our first call in.
Okay, I'm going to take a stab at this game. So, 1 was the one I knew already, Halloween Resurrection, which has been confirmed anyway. 2, I think it's from Saw, the first film. 3 is Sleepaway Camp. 4 is really annoying me because it sounds just like Lisa Kudrow in Friends, and now I can't get that out of my head. So I have no idea on 4 and 5 yet, but I'll get there. And let's see if I've got any others right.
Well, Becky, you have got Halloween Resurrection is correct. Number 2, unfortunately, is not Saw. It's not from the Saw franchise at all. Number 3 is Sleepaway Camp. You've got that right. And number 4 and 5, you have no clue. So you got those wrong. We have another guess.
I can't concentrate now because I need to ask you something. I need to ask you if what I'm thinking is right.
Well, let's do the next one, and then you can ask me in case the other person's got it.
Okay.
Howdy, y'all. So my guesses for this damn quiz would be Halloween Resurrection, Booty. Number 2 would be The Uninvited from 2009, but I'm pretty sure I'm not right on that, but it's still a wild card guess. Number 3, Sleepaway Camp. Number 4, where she says move, I literally have no idea. And number 5, pretty confident that it's The Evil Dead 2013. You know, the one that caused the huge argument and almost fallout of our friendship. Okay, that's all that I have for now. Bye.
When she said 2013, did she mean the sequel to Army of Darkness?
Don't go there. Yes, she did.
Right, yeah, I'm just checking timelines, that's all.
Yeah. Heather got Halloween Resurrection correct. Number 2, Heather, I'm sorry, you're wrong. Number 3 is Sleepaway Camp. Number 4, you don't know. Number 5 is Evil Dead 2013. So the only ones that are missing now is 2 and 4. Which one do you think you know?
I think I know number 4, but I've been in this position before.
Well, I'm going to let you take a stab at it. And if you're right or wrong, I'm not going to react. And then I'll tell you off the air if you're correct.
I think number 4 is Pitch Black.
I'm going to tell you now you're wrong.
Fuck.
So we'll play it one more time for everyone who's listening now. You only have 2 to guess now. It's the second clip and the 4th clip. So the first one is Halloween Resurrection. The 3rd one is Sleepaway Camp. And the 4th one is Evil Dead 2013. Here is the clip.
Trick or treat. What have you done?
Eat shit!
Move! Give me a break.
There we go.
Yeah, I thought it was the Australian actress. They do a lot of running in the end. And I thought it was like, move. Ah, fuck.
Yeah, no.
You're gonna have to tell me, man, because it's doing my head in now. I can't sleep, I can't eat.
Well, you could do with losing a couple of pounds. Maybe you wouldn't fall off the roof. Remember to enter. You need to call. You need to leave us a voicemail on Instagram or X, or you need to make a post on TikTok and tag us with your answers, and then we'll tell you which ones are correct as we put them on the air. I'm going to let you round this one up first.
I was really disappointed by my rewatch of this recently. I voiced a lot of my concerns with this movie very early on in this episode, so I'm not going to waste anybody's time by going over that. I think this is the weakest iteration of this story. If you want to dive into a Silence of the Lambs sequel, go and read the book. Go and watch the TV show. Watch this as a continuation of Anthony Hopkins' character, but don't watch this if you were like, Silence of the Lambs is the greatest movie ever, and then be utterly disappointed by Hannibal like I was. I don't think it's that great. I'm really shocked by how poorly Ridley Scott's direction has held up in this movie. I think barring Anthony Hopkins, the rest of the cast is very underwhelming in comparison to what we've seen done since. I know this movie came out to mass critical acclaim when it was first released. I remember my parents going to watch it in the cinema when it came out and coming back and telling me it was like one of the best movies I've ever seen. But yeah, for me, I was very underwhelmed, and I'm probably going to carry that feeling with me now every time I hear this movie mentioned in conversation. It's gonna. I came in with a higher score in mind, but then the more we fleshed out on the episode, the more and more the score has gone down for me. It's gonna get a 2.5 out of 5. I found it really disappointing, and I know a lot of people are going to think that's a wild score to give this film, but unfortunately, it's just done so much better elsewhere.
Well, in complete contrast, I'm a big fan of this movie. I don't mind that they altered the book. I like the more aggressive, more assertive Clarice Starling character, which doesn't exist anywhere else but in this movie. Maybe that's just because I like strong, assertive women as a general rule, but I think Julianne Moore does that very, very well, and I buy the character as she portrays her, and I can ignore what come before to make it work. The acting across the board is great. I don't think there's a bad actor in the bunch. Anthony Hopkins is perfect as Hannibal Lecter, always has been. He embodies that character to another level of brilliant. Mason Verger, like, wow, I'm still blown away. I still can't get over the fact that that is Gary Oldman. It just, even looking like, if you showed me a picture of it now, I still couldn't pick a single facial feature of Gary Oldman out of that character, or voice or vocal tone. He's so good. There's things in this film they could have done better. It drags massively in the middle. You probably could have shaved 20 minutes, 30 minutes off of this film and told the same story at a faster pace, because there's times in the middle section where you've got Patsy chasing Hannibal and like that whole I was sort of half paying attention and a bit of doom scrolling because I lost interest, and then it pulls me back in for the second half. I've not got any real complaints on this. It's a 3.5 out of 5. It's a solid film. I enjoy it.
Fair score.
Yeah. Well, that brings Kate Rules Month to a close. Again, huge thank you to Kate. You picked some wonderful movies for the polls that didn't win as well, which, I'll be honest, I've pinched most of them. Most of them are already in polls for next year as my picks. It takes a lot of effort to put together the amount of movies we need for a poll, and Kate done a really good job of picking not just decent movies, but a decent mix of movies as well. So this month we've not had a single movie that's felt like, oh, we've done one like this last week. It's really, really good. We're going to be back next week as we enter Halloween month, the month where we effectively excite the masses for a month and then they all leave us again. And I'm fine with being foreplay for Halloween. Next week we're going to some fucking weird places. We look at Robert Zombert's first ever movie, his first production, as we take a dive into House of a Thousand Corpses.
Who's your daddy?
Do you know? Be the most contrast you've seen me and Mark for a very, very long time. But
Love
I
it.
know he has a lot of love for this movie, so I'm going to try my hardest not to piss him off with the things that I'm going to say.
I don't think you could piss me off. I know going in the type of person you are and your love for horror. We've been doing this for long enough, man. I know where we're going to be next week, and I know how much of a contrasting scale we are with one another. I mean, I'm not even giving spoilers here. Do you know what I mean? You know, I'm a Rob Zombie guy. You guys have heard me for the past 3 years now talk about how Halloween 2 is a fantastic movie. When I watch House of a Thousand Corpses, you'll understand why my love for this movie shows why I love what he did with Halloween 2.
Well, join us next week for that. Until then, have a wonderful week, and we're going to kick October and Halloween month off with a bang. See you all next week.
Peace out, guys.
You want to die tonight?
Jokes you tell sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Marc's overblown roundups. You run podcasts for a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. You run podcasts, horror movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. Thank you for taking us on this chilling ride, when nightmares roll free and comedy collide. With your podcast we laugh and cringe, but your content is so good we can't help but binge. You run podcasts. You run podcasts.
Luigi, no! Luigi! I heard the snap!